guys, happy October. This is going to be a beautiful month to manifest with. We are closing out old chapters and old cycles massively this month. We're seeing what's ending and we're letting go of the old, but at the same time, we're going to be able to weave our dreams together by recognizing the new that's coming in and getting new information and inklings of the new directions and the new paths and the new things that we can try and the seeds that we can plant, for our future. And the way that we can kind of weave our dreams together with working more with the mystery and the unseen and the unknown. So, hi, if you don't know me, my name is Jenna. I talk about astrology and energy updates here, and I help you get on your highest path so you can manifest your best reality and work with these energies. This month, we're going to be dealing with a lot of Virgo energy and a lot of Pisces energy. And then we also have this very supportive minor grand trine to really help us and invite us into the new. So I'm going to go through, all the transits and a brief overview of everything. And then I'll go through the signs so you can exactly see what's going on for you. So with Saturn and Neptune in Pisces, there's going to be a lot of veils being lifted, a lot of corruption coming up to the surface. But with the sextile to Pluto, it's nice because we know what to do once we see the corruption, being just exposed. We're going to be able to see good versus evil in a very obvious way. And I think we're already really seeing it right now. But with that, it frees us. The more people that can see through the corruption and not just us freaks that have seen it for a while, the more we can get everybody on board to build, a better system and structure and government and all the things and money in a way that actually really helps us. And then in your personal life, I think this is a big way that we're releasing old programs that we didn't even realize that we had, that were in the back of our subconscious. A lot of veils that we didn't even know were still there within us, being lifted. And so we can really listen at the same time to our internal guidance and our dreams and our intuition to really know what's going to be the best for us. Because like the spider, it's like this is where we can weave our dreams together in such an unknown way. We're working with the unknown, and how you work with the unknown is working with visualizing first. You manifest. You have to have it internally, and this is how reality actually works, and how I think we're all becoming familiar with how reality works, is that everything is internal, and then externally, that's just the mirror. So internally, this is where you want to manifest. This is where you want to visualize. This is where you want to do affirmations. This is where you want to script, whatever, manifestation method works the best for you, so you can reprogram your internal world. And so you can expect the better things and to build the better things, from that vision internally. And when you do that, and if you're consciously working all the time with having that vision inside of you, you become a magnet to people, places, things, and the universe helping you towards your bigger dreams and towards your goals in a more effortless way. We were taught always to take action first. You have to it's working with the feminine. You have to visualize, you have to work with the energies of the universe to bring these things to you in a very effortless way. And then in that way, you're manifesting for your highest good and with your highest self too. And you receive those nudges and those inklings, and you can really follow your intuition to build in a way that is actually just perfect for you. And then Virgo, I like, high frequency of Virgo is all about humility. So Venus is going to be going through it this month. Venus is going to be crossing the South Node in Leo. So there's majorly things that we're letting go of with what we thought we used to value when it comes to love, money, relationships. And Leo does have to deal with leadership, but this also has to do with what makes us happy, what we do for fun, how do we shine really brightly out in the world? How do we really listen to our inner child? And maybe recognizing where we weren't listening to our inner child and the way we want to express ourselves and the way we want to create in this reality. This could be a way we got to like stuffed up and kind of blocked off our creativity. And this is where we can release a lot of blocks to that. And I guess, leadership, obviously, I think we're looking at leadership in a whole different way, on the world stage, like that. And that goes with the veils being lifted majorly. But at the same time, I think this is a great way that we can all update our values and choose leaders with more integrity and more spirituality, possibly even, because that's kind of the best way to be a leader is to, be a leader for the collective. You can't be a leader for the self anymore. You got to be leading for the collective, for the group to raise up, humanity. So maybe there's, and Leo can just be bright, flashy, bold, and, kind of like very self-centered. But that's why I love this Virgo stuff too, because Virgo really gets you out of the self. Virgo is paying attention to the knowledge and the wisdom in the outside world, but healthy Virgo energy looks at the knowledge of healthy Virgo energy knows its own strengths and can put precise focus on your own strengths. But at the same time, you realize that you're just a piece of the collective whole. And as long as you're doing your role and really leaning on your strengths, and you realize that you're just supporting, the collective and us all working together, that's how we can make the beautiful magic happen, really, the Pisces stuff. And that's how we can manifest a bigger dream that is way bigger than what our ego even really expected, because it's more so God's plan. It's for the whole. It's, bigger and universal. Liberation from being self-centered. Because when we're too self-centered, we can actually get very, that's where the distortions can come from. That's when you can have a more distorted lens or view of the world, and where you start, trying to protect your ego and identity with that, from that fragile self, So this is where we can really stop filtering our reality with our own perspective to protect our own identity. Like say you're left, say you're right. If you're choosing each side, you're behind the game. This is the time where we need to start waking the fuck up and like realize that it's the elites versus us. It is kind of like evil versus good, us. So really, when we can change our lens in that way, we can focus on helping everybody, not just putting us in groups and not just focusing on the self. Healthy Virgo energy is all about being humble. And that's important, because when you're humble, humble people apologize, humble people accept feedback, humble people listen. And humility does create better leaders, because it creates more efficiency. It creates a group of people that are willing to speak up and give faster answers, data, information, make the changes, and just move a lot faster. So hopefully we can choose, start choosing leaders that are more humble. Oh my God, it's such a nightmare right now. Like, is none of our leaders like are really humble leaders. But I think we're recognizing, that's the thing that needs to change. When we focus on humility, we can be open up to nuance and let the new beliefs, the new feelings, and recognize that we can love people regardless of our beliefs or someone's point of view or how somebody wants to live their life differently. The point is we need to get back to just loving people, because we are in such a society right now where we just turn against each other, where we point fingers, where we just want to not follow somebody or just say it's their fault and whatever, they're not my people, and just like put up a wall. But this, Saturn and Neptune in Pisces is saying like, we are one humanity. And I think we're all seeing through the bullshit that has kept us separated for so long. So we can start like creating together. And when we do that, we can be really, really powerful. And humility, it's not like trying to play small or anything. It is just focusing on your strengths and what you're good at, and then being open. It's very open. So you're open to learning and open to understanding the other, and this could be just people out in the world, or this could be in your relationships. This can be majorly healing to relationships. So you're willing to see the other's point of view, and you're willing to understand. Healthy Virgo energy is really good at orienting itself to the other person. And then I think this is also a really, really good energy to enjoy living life more, and putting the focus on that versus being too self-centered. Because we take all this like Leo energy and we go to Virgo, and this is where we can refine it. We built up our ego and the way we shine and our sense of self. And now Virgo, it's about like weeding things out so we can be more connected to other people. And so we can live. And when we live life for life and start living life in gratitude and appreciation and the beauty of life and looking around and, living life from that way. And, when you help somebody, it does help make you feel so good. It starts to actually make you really step into yourself in a whole new way and kind of love yourself in a more authentic way, versus in the way where you're just focusing on the self. This month, when you're focusing on just put your focus on the love of life and the love of living life, and then the self-love can just come, the self-love just kind of follows, live in gratitude and focus on creating something for the collective. I think that's going to be really easy to tune into this month. Being open to receiving more information, and open to change in the flow of life. So we can really remain curious to see what really wants to come together. Like I keep on, getting spider symbolism or whatever. I did put these up, but it's just like we can weave our dreams together in a way better way that we ever even thought possible if we just remain open to the mystery and the unknown of life, and staying a little less clinged to the fixed self, because when we're so fixed in ourselves, we don't allow ourselves to be present and malleable in the new ways that we can create reality. And this is actually where we can be more present in the current reality, so we can make adjustments from there and kind of be a lot more in flow. So it's recognizing that your story is important and your strengths are important and everything. And it's important for the collective to help evolve the collective. But at the same time, we're connecting to a bigger picture and bigger things that are good for everybody. This month, definitely focus on humility. Because that also just widens your perspective. A lot of Virgo energy, we can get so zoomed into one way of doing things and needing control, needing to hold things together in a certain way. But if we practice humility with it, it makes seeing possible, actually. It's that, Socrates, like, I know that I know nothing, because we think we know a lot sometimes, but at the same time, we always get to that point in life where we actually don't know anything. This is such a big, wide universe. I think, humans can only literally see like 0.000% of everything that is. There's so many things that we don't know. And the more that we can just be open to change and be open to inflexible and really lead with humility, then I think this can be a very magical month where we can weave our dreams together in a whole new way. Humility this month can open up paths, and it can open us up to the uncertain and into the highest divine path. Okay, so let's keep on going. That was kind of like, Virgo energy that is going to be present all this month. And wherever the sun is where we are consciously really putting our focus on and manifesting. We're majorly manifesting with Virgos. And I think the best way to do that is with humility. So, okay, we talked about Venus on the South Node in Leo. And then we have, Venus going through its stuff. So Venus is going to be releasing something going over the South Node in Leo. And I already went over that. And then Venus is going to be making a sextile to Jupiter. So it's like, as soon as you release something, maybe there's a perspective shift, there's new coming in. Jupiter is knowledge, wisdom, a bigger, expansive vision. It is luck, abundance, opportunity. So it's like, once you release that thing, there's more room to manifest with, and something really good can come your way. New information, a new perspective, or a new friendship that opens up your world in a whole new way. And then on the 8th, Venus enters Virgo. So Venus in Virgo, it can be very, they say Venus in Virgo is in its detriment, but Venus in Virgo really just wants to improve things. It has the very fine eye where it can improve the tiniest little details that nobody else sees, but it makes like that piece of art really stand out. It makes that movie really come together. I love those movies that they focus on. You can tell when somebody puts a movie together, like The Matrix. Actually, they took 3 years, vision boarding that whole thing. And they actually really wrote, the Wachowski brothers, they actually really wrote that. Like there's a lot of people, or I heard Ralph Smart the other day saying, like, we don't know if they actually wrote that. How did they write that? Because they were so far ahead of their time. It's like a warning to humanity. But they really wrote that. And, anyway, they vision boarded it for 3 years, and they thought about every single little detail to get every single thing across in that movie. And you can tell that's why it's so, not only the messaging is amazing, but also the, just how like impactful it is, very, very amazing. So that's a lot like Venus in Virgo, is really focusing on all the tiny little details to really make a masterpiece really work out. But at the same time, Venus in Virgo can feel like they need to earn love, or they need to work for love. They need to like do all these things for their person. So they show that they get to be loved, but that kind of makes love transactional. And that kind of makes on one side or the other that they don't really deserve your love. And at the end of the day, it's good to lean into the Pisces. Like, God and love is unlimited. And you have to recognize where you can stop, where you need to stop blocking the overflow of love that can come in. And love is source, love is creation, love is art, love is time, love is a lot. And I think with this, we can be really open in new ways to where we were programmed to really block ourselves off from love, and to, especially like loving in a survival way, or just lack, or, any ways. We've been programmed so many ways, with love, where we can tune into this like beautiful, because it's going to be opposite Saturn and Neptune at the same time, from the 9th to the 14th. where we're going through a massive unwinding and maybe a massive unveiling of where we kind of tricked ourselves, where we were programmed in a certain way by society, by TV, by whatever, where we can release those veils that we had internally, where we can actually bring it more back to love, unconditional love, source love, unlimited, overflowing love, and let down all of our defenses, And this can be a good time. Venus and Virgo can be really good at debating and everything, where, instead of debating, we can just be curious, be very curious, be very playful, and then surrendering the need to prove anything. Instead, when you just focus on surrendering into love and actually recognizing where there is more power with just choosing love and being the core of love, then the world opens up for you. The blinders really, come off and everything. So there's going to be blocks. There's going to be confusion, possibly. There's going to be frustrations with love, with money, with the way we create and the way we manifest. But at the same time, Venus is going to be making a trine to Pluto and Uranus, and these are collective planets. So this is like a collective thing, slow moving, like collective change that humanity is kind of going through right now, because humanity is going through a really big collective change. But we can kind of get some inklings and some hints with the ways structure can change and the ways our values can change and comfort and money, when we can open ourselves up even more so and kind of unwind ourselves internally. And then we have Pluto going direct on the 13th at 0 degrees of Capricorn. So this is, I would say the first 2 weeks of October, we're definitely going to be feeling this, because when you definitely feel a planet 5 times more when it's stationing, because it's like, it's still and it's like moving in the other direction. So we feel it like way more. So we're going to be recognizing in, corruption, fears. Pluto is this deep emotional guttural transformation that we go through. And when we go through a harsh Pluto transit, we have to go recognize those deep, deep emotions of where we held on to control, security, power, and see sometimes stuff gets ripped away. And, it's the things that we hold on to that we feel like we can't really live without. But at the same time, if it's getting taken away, it's going to transform us into more of our higher selves and into more of our purpose. And it's freeing us actually at the end of the day. So we let go of these things so we can kind of go through a transformation. And, a lot of, and in the collective, it's just going to be a lot about that has to do with government, that has to do with our structures, our work, and, facing all these underlying things and going through a death and a rebirth, facing the underlying corruption of governments, and the massive, just, yeah, how everyone's kind of recognizing how tied everything actually is together at a deeper underlying corrupt level. But it's coming up to the surface to free us, So once we recognize it, once we see it, we can't unsee it, and we get to grab our power and we get to have control and realize where we can create in a whole new way. So, it can be a little intense the first, 2 weeks, but, after that, we're moving forward. And then we have the sun squaring Jupiter. But I like this. This isn't really too bad. This can be really good, actually. This definitely looks like very consciously we can be reprogramming ourselves, because Gemini is, they're both mentally ruled signs. And, Jupiter is good. The sun is ourself and our identity. And there can be dynamic new ways that we can be shifting our perspective with how we show up out in the world and how we create our abundance, how we are aligning with our own wisdom. So we can kind of break open, it's kind of reminds, whenever there's a Gemini Virgo square, it's kind of like a ping pong of like, the old stuffy ways and then the exciting new ways and new ideas and just younger, new energy being introduced in that is a little bit more lighthearted and seeing where things can kind of fit at the end. So I do like that. And that can push us into very broadening perspectives. From the 15th to the 9th is going to be a good time to try out new things. This is like major manifesting energy with the Virgo part of our chart and the Gemini part of our chart, where we can try new things, new ideas, new ways to structure, new routines, new whatever that feels just inspiring and exciting and going towards the new. So we can, just manifest in a better way. And I totally forgot to talk about the moon on the 6th, the full moon, because I actually write my notes all over the place. They're not in order ever for some reason. I don't know why, like I can't order things. I just kind of script whatever, because I just, get intuitive hits and I write it all down and then it's a little all over the place. But okay, whatever. So this full moon, and I'm getting away from manifesting with the full moons actually in the new moons. I don't know, like, because I think, I don't know, there is that the moon Saturn trap, so I like personally just manifesting with the sun. So again, this is kind of focusing on the Virgo energy, but at the same time, we're really tuning into the spiritual. With Pisces stuff, we can have amplified dreams, visions, intuition, our imagination, really amplified. So we can really ground things into reality. So we can structure things, so we can make a plan, so we can bring our dreams into reality in a whole new way. And I like how Mercury is making a quincunx to Neptune and Uranus. So it's kind of like there might be new ways or a new information that comes your way and a new way to do things to kind of, create and make a habit, make a routine, make a structure, whatever, that is more in alignment with the new direction that we're going in. This is a definitely weaving your dreams together full moon. So I like that. And then let's go back to, let's see, Mercury in shadow on the 20th in Libra. So it is going to be going back and forth. It's going to dip into Scorpio too, and Libra. So Libra has to do with harmony, balance, relationships, dealing with the other. It is the mirror. And revising like where, like maybe we need to bend less for the mirror. Maybe there's a way like we get those reflections from other people in relationships where we can, have those breakthroughs internally, because Mercury is going to be opposite Uranus too. So it's kind of like we can have a lot of breakthroughs and update our self-worth and, what we value. And then focus on internally getting aligned with what we value. So we see that reflected in the external even more so. It's going to be right on, Mars, I think, when it stations. It'll be with Mars this whole time, and it's going to be stationing retrograde with Mars and Scorpio. So, oh man, so we might be facing like those deep, guttural, intense emotions and everything coming to the surface. And these could be gross emotions like shame, guilt, blame, revenge, like disgust from the past, whatever, coming up. So we face it. So we recognize what we stuffed down, what was hidden, what were we trying not to really face anymore. And this majorly does have to deal with relationships also, because the Scorpio part is where we deal with intimacy and relationships in a really deep way. So I kind of like that, actually. It is like a little like Libra is nice because it can be very diplomatic, Mars and Libra, very, very diplomatic with being able to see the other side, being able to have at least a little bit more patience before reacting. And then same with Mars and Scorpio, though, it can be very reserved and kind of just get that intuitive knowing and from within, and that feeling from within with what are you really passionate about? What do you really want? What is like something really deeply important to your soul that you can't ignore anymore, that comes to the surface, so you can actually make a longer term plan to put that as a priority with what you value. So I definitely see this as updating values with your relationships, with money, with security, with what you really want in life, and just having that like light bulbs and the clarity around it. So I really actually like that, even if it might be agitating. So for this one, definitely any trigger that you're getting is it is for your benefit at the end of the day, for your long term. It is so you mentally see it, and so you get there and you have that awareness of what you want, what you need, what conversations to have, what you want to manifest, and bing bong boom, getting your mind, body, spirit all on the same page. And then we have the new moon in Virgo. Really bringing all the little pieces together with the plan, the routine, the structure, how you live your every single day life, and making sure that it's in alignment with your internal world to manifest all the good things. And I love how Jupiter is going to be trining Saturn. So that's really, really nice. It's like maybe what's been dissolving with the Saturn things, old structures, old programmings, old ways of looking at authority. You now get new information or a new perspective, or I like Jupiter and Gemini because it's kind of like trying a little bit of everything, and to get the best results, you try a little bit of everything and you see what works. So, being very dynamic, being very playful, actually, and very curious can be a whole new way that you, structure things or look at your goals and plans for the long term, and figure out how to, again, weave your dreams into reality. And then we have the sun squaring Pluto from the 20th, till the 25th. So that's a little bit of a tension. And this is like, kind of like, do you want to conform or not? With Pluto and Capricorn, it's like, this is the way you got to conform for the corporate job or to fit in to society and all of that. And there might be a way that we might have been people pleasing or just trying to make things look nice, or, whatever it is, where we can kind of face this underlying tension. So we can show up in a more authentic way with how we're living our everyday life. And is it really in flow with us and what we're doing, and with our own unique soul path. And then I like Mercury from the 23rd to the 31st, making a nice trine to Jupiter and Saturn and Neptune. So this is a way that we can really have, those mental clicks, and, just really have maybe a relationship comes our way. Maybe there's a new way that we can take action that is more harmonious, more balanced, more towards beauty, more towards the art, more towards creating with new ideas and new ways of expressing ourselves. This is where we're really seeing the new, and we can feel really passionate about taking action towards the new. And we're like, oh, this, person comes in, and, we have this light bulb moment to really, structure things in a whole new way. It's going to lead to a lot of abundance and new ideas and just new connections, new perspectives. And yeah, it's like, it kind of just comes your way. And I think after maybe some of the tension and whatever, it's like you're letting go of the old, shedding the old skin and everything, especially with the sun squaring Pluto. And you're recognizing what needs to go, even though, what has been overdue, because when we overdue to go, because Pluto is just like, okay, like, if it's time for it to go, it's time for it to go, and don't cling on to it. But at the same time, it's like, okay, here's a new perspective. Here's a new way of doing things. Here's the new, this is how we're moving actually more so into next year. So we can be open to the new. Okay, guys, so I'm going to go through all the signs and tell you what's coming up for you and how you can best use this energy. And you can look at your sun if you want to get aligned with your soul purpose, your career, that longer term goal. You can look at your moon to get that internal alignment. The moon is how we think, how we feel, the internal story that we're telling ourselves, which can be conscious or it can be unconscious. And then we're going to look at your rising, because that is the most accurate one. That is objectively how you can really tell what's going to be happening in your life and in what area of life. So that is the most accurate one if you want to get a really good prediction. Because objectively, that's kind of like what's happening in your life. And if your friend's watching it, it's like, yeah, that happened. Okay. So it's not like the internal perspective. It's not that broad, like soul mission or anything. That's the most accurate with what's happening right here, right now. Hi, Aries. Okay, so let's see what's going on with you. So, this is a big month for you to really focus on the internal, really connect to your dreams, your imagination. We should all be doing that anyway, but I think you will get very amplified visions of what's ending. And this could be from past lifetimes. This could be from this lifetime, what old cycles are ending that you're completely done with. And so you can recognize where your time and energy just was going someplace and it actually wasn't serving you. So you can start the new, because there can be new ways that you kind of structure your everyday life, new perspectives, new mental shifts that can really, help you go towards your bigger dreams and your bigger goals. But yeah, it's all about connecting internally first to that unconditional love. And so you can make those shifts in your everyday life and make sure you're aligning mind, body, spirit to, with that bigger path and direction that you're going in. So yeah, I love that. So, and then and be prepared for miscommunication in your relationships. There might be somebody a little bit more agitating that you're dealing with, but at the same time, you're going to be more focused on relationships. But with this Mercury retrograde coming up, you're going to be, reviewing your perspective with relationships, how you communicate in relationships, how you can upgrade with all of that so you can align with the right people and connect in a deeper way. So you're getting ready to rise again in a whole new, beautiful way. I love this card. Shining more of your authentic light in your beauty and your overall bigger soul, higher expression and direction that you're going in. And you're ready to be embodied in that. And you're really just facing the past in a big way. That's not comfortable. The 10 of Swords, the 10 of Wands, you're facing this stuff this month, but it's so you can release it, because that is showing you exactly where you did waste your time and your energy. So you can be open to the new. The Three of Wands is coming out. So at the same time, with that heaviness, there's a new paths, new directions, new excitement, new adventures, just living more in the present moment in a more fun way that is actually more freeing, but it's taking you towards that higher destination in that new adventure. Because the whale came out in the fox. So the fox is ready to go on that unwinding path and kind of zigzag and not really know where it's going, but it just lives in the present moment and use its instincts to really just go and know what's right for it. And that's kind of the energy that you're tuning into, like living more so in the present moment. And at the same time, whale came out. So it's like really listening to your deep intuition and your deep ancestral soul guidance that is really just giving you that information right now. And you're going to be feeling it. You're going to feel what direction is right for you in your body. It's going to be kind of a more visceral feeling that you can't really even fully explain why you're feeling it, but that feeling gives you that knowing, with what paths to take and what's right for you and what dreams you want to manifest. So the whale, desire to delve deeper, profound peace, ancient wisdom. The whale represents profound emotional health and stability. Whale personalities are not afraid of emotional expression or traversing the difficult terrain, as they have overcome many challenges in their lives. These experiences have enriched them, given them stability, strength, and a depth that is rare. Whale energy is linked to the feminine forces of compassion and communication. We can depend on a whale's personality when all else seems lost and trust them to be a beacon in our darkest hour. So when in balance, calm, steady, deeply compassionate. When out of balance, heavy, slips into an old story. So yeah, you're diving deep at the same time to get, that deep, like emotional wisdom. But at the same time, don't dive too deep and stay there. Balance out what's ending and recognizing what's ending so you can really be passionate and excited with the new and that new version of you that is rising, moving into the future. All right, Aries, if you would like a reading, check out my link in bio. Hi, Taurus. Okay, so you have a ton of energy in your 5th house and 6th house. So this is your creative energy, how you have fun, how you express yourself, how you get into that higher alignment on your Dharma path, because the 5th house, when you follow your heart, when you follow your passion, when you follow your excitement, that's how you can get into alignment with that bigger direction that you're going, that your soul is calling you towards. So yeah, majorly creative energy. And maybe I'm seeing how can you bring that into your everyday life? A part of your work, a part of your routine, a part of your daily practice, because the more that can be a part of your work and routine, the more you can, just have that soulful alignment and flow towards the best things that are really meant for you. And I think this can help unwind a lot of the ways maybe that you looked at your future. Was Saturn and Neptune in the future or in the 11th house? It's looking at your future, hopes, dreams, wishes, and seeing like, oh, like I really want that far off dream to happen, but it looks so, much more challenging to go towards or something like that. But I think there's a way that you can be more adaptable, more open, more ready to release the old. And, this could be perspectives. This could be old ways of doing things. This could be just releasing control a little bit. So you can lean into the humility and be open to the unknown and the mystery and the magical way that your bigger hopes and dreams and visions can happen in a very magical, synchronistic way, with connecting with random people that help you go in that direction, or whatever, basically with whatever the universe sends you. So yeah, definitely be open this month. Be open to just channeling new guidance, new information, new people coming into your life that can help you, that are just fulfilling. Or Gather Your Tribe came out. So this definitely might have to do with you connecting with a new group, and this could be online, this could be in person, or whatever, your soul tribe. So you kind of get that upliftment, even if you have this weird, like far off dream, you can be very pumped up about it if you have the right people that kind of share your vision, that are very like-minded, because there is a big way that you're releasing a big, heavy burden. Maybe the way you thought things were going to go. But this is the 10 of Wands is a burden you never needed to carry. And it did have to do with your beliefs. And it was these beliefs that you had that were actually weighing you down, that were keeping you in a more limiting perspective, that were like holding you down with these heavier emotions from the past, where you're recognizing they can be released so you can ascend and go higher in a easier way. And I think you're recognizing maybe, there might be a soul contract coming back. The Six of Cups came out from the past, and this could be romantic. This could be, yeah, old soulmate connection or old friend even. Soulmates can be friends. They can be romantic, so somebody coming back from the past, maybe as a reminder of something. But I think this is showing you where there can actually be more balance, because there is an imbalance, either materially or with money or work, where things can definitely be more balanced. And with Mars and Mercury, that's going to be in Libra. I think, yeah, you're just finding more balance and harmony with work, with coworkers, with, yeah. Okay, and the Lion came out. It's time to really tune into your heart and have the courage to follow your heart. So you're unblocking your heart in a whole new way this month. And I think you're going to be able to really have a lot of courage and bravery and just ability to step into your true light in a whole new way. And the cosmic egg came out. So this is a big one. This is like a rebirth energy. So I really like that. Let's look at the cosmic egg. So completion, harmony, the infinite within the finite. The cosmic egg is the final card in the journey of the animal spirit deck. And it represents the unfolding of cosmic consciousness. This state emerges after we have tread the path for quite some time, and through self-effort and grace, we experience self-realization, a sense of contentment and oneness. Spontaneity arises within us, and the veils of our self-limited beliefs are lifted. When the essence of the cosmic egg has not been activated, we may feel as if we will never get there, or that we travel alone, disconnected from others. Even if we encounter this encounter with this card is brief, appearing as a momentary glimmer, a flash of interconnectedness, its potent energy stays with us. The cosmic egg is a remedy for the fragmentation of modern life. It is through the power of this card that we are reminded of the cosmic contract written at the beginning. We hold onto life, and the life holds on to us. The journey is complete, but it does not end. So yeah, I think you're finding a way to be very flexible and to start living from the heart. So you see how everything can kind of weave and connect together in a whole new way that you never really even expected. So look out for the signs, look out for the synchronicities, look out for the things that come your way that really like pull everything together in a magical and synchronistic way. All right, Taurus, if you would like a reading, check out my link in bio. Gemini, okay, you're probably just, going to be starting to get your grounding this month after that, eclipse season. You probably had to be very dynamic. You probably had to be very open to the ways that things are changing. And I think you can find a lot of, just new connection with your inner core, with your inner being. The fourth house is all about really having that emotional stability. And what are you feeling most of the time? Are you, fourth house, how we manifest with it is focusing, what are we feeling most of the time emotionally? Are we feeling like, especially when we're alone all the time, are we feeling hope? Are we feeling excitement? Are we feeling reverence? Are we feeling love? Are we feeling depressed? Are we feeling, on the other end of things? And with Venus here, you can definitely get uplifted. And I think the more that you get internally uplifted and you are connected to the core of how you want to feel, all the time, then the more the world will open up for you. And this is where you can find the new sparks, the new passion, the new excitement, the signs, the synchronicities, the really tuning into the vision within first, so you can, just let the world mirror that for you. So this can be a major way, I think, you're transforming your internal world, and also at the same time releasing old stories that you used to tell yourself. So you can show up out in the world in a whole new way and kind of manifest in an easier, abundant way. Yeah. Ooh, I like that. So, yeah, Ace of Wands came out, new passion, new excitement, a new beginning, new fire coming your way that really lights you up. And Judgment came out reversed. So it's like some sort of karmic contract, and this could be, work, or this could be a relationship. Something might be ending that was out of balance before, and you weren't seeing it before. But now it's time for you to really recognize it this month and really maybe pay attention to your emotions and your gut feeling with something, whether it's a relationship or an opportunity or whatever. So you're more readily to take that leap, because there's something that was very traditional, which is the King of Pentacles, which came out reversed. Something traditional, something that was stable, something that was solid before, that isn't serving you anymore. So it was actually weighing you down. It was actually making you heavier. Then she never goes outside, and I get really scared when she goes outside. Come on, baby. One sec, I might have to pause this. So, one sec. Sorry, Gemini. Binny's the most defenseless little kitty. She needed to get in here. So, okay, yeah. So something that was traditional, but heavy. And, there's just a lot of that happening right now, where it was either the corporate job, the need to climb the ladder, why am I full? Yeah, feeling cold breeze. Anyway, yeah, maybe you feel that way around it. Maybe it just feels cold and blocked off, and like you can't expand into it. And it was something that you used to value, but it's time to release it because, maybe society said that was valuable, but it's not valuable actually. And it's time to listen to your intuition. The King of Cups came out. So where the direction, you're going to get really, really, really strong intuition, and it's going to feel good. It's going to feel uplifting. It's going to, get you in your heart, and, you might see that visions and just get a glimpse of how things can really come together. And I think you're going to be able to take a leap towards something, whether it is starting a project or planting that seed. But yeah, Saturn and Neptune in your 10th house, it's time to go towards the art. It's time to go towards your creativity. It's time to listen to those deeper soul desires, because the shark came out. Those deeper guttural desires, that makes sense with Pluto in the 8th house, that you might have blocked off. So there could be shame, guilt, jealousy coming up right now, but that's where you blocked off this deeper emotional impulse that you're really getting in tune with again. And that's kind of leading you in the right direction towards creating something. But yeah, I have a Gemini in my life where like they just had a meeting with somebody like, oh, we need to create movies for middle America. And, they actually have Neptune in their 10th house. It's like, no, we need to create art. We need to create, something that uplifts humanity. We need to create something for the highest good of all, spirituality, something that emotionally translates for the greater good for the public. So focusing on that and where you're emotionally being pulled, I think you're going to get a really strong like instinct of something. So you'll jump towards it. And then there's a new way that you can claim your sovereignty. You're claiming your sovereignty with, again, the snake. It's a snake year. It's like this was ready to be, birthed, and you are ready for this transformation, and deeply internally, you already know that. But it's all about like shedding that skin. So you allow yourself to do that. So you claim more of your power and your ability to transform, so you can show up out in the world in a whole different way, going after your dreams, going after your goals, going after where you're really being called. So yeah, you go towards what's meant for you. Okay, so let me read the shark that came out. So the shark. Directness, exposure, revealing true nature and desire. The shark is only dangerous when we don't acknowledge it. This card indicates that something big needs to be exposed. It's lurking in the depths and creating tension. Shark energy takes over us when we are hesitant to be honest, to be totally ourselves, or to say what we really want. It may be tempting to continue to pretend nothing is wrong, but when the shark energy is at play, we feel its presence is encircling us. When in balance, intriguing, captivating, mysterious. When out of balance, sneaky, destructive. Bring into balance by honesty. So yeah, there might be just deep honesty with yourself that you're getting clarity with that is going to allow you to transform wherever you were suppressing yourself. So you really own your creative energy and this deeper impulse coming up, guiding you in this bright, in this new direction that feels expansive, that feels uplifting, instead of listening to the old ways, maybe that you talked yourself out of it in the past. So yeah, releasing judgment. So new perspectives, new beliefs, new information, a new way of seeing the world can come into your life, and it is going to be a fresh, new, exciting start. All right, Gemini, if you would like a reading, check out my link in bio. Hi, Cancer. So you're definitely dealing with, maybe let's go. Yeah, your second house and your third house. So, and then your ninth house. So this is all about your bigger beliefs, the programs that are just installed in you. And then the third house is your mentality and the way you speak to yourself, the way you talk, what you listen to, what you do every day. TikTok is programming machine, really. It is the best programming machine because of repetition, because you get on an algorithm, then you hear something over and over and over and over and over again, and you get programmed by TikTok, which is maybe a little dangerous now since it's owned by Larry Ellison, who is kind of, he has a big black heart. I don't know why that just came out right now, but what do you do every day? And what do you listen to every day? And is it uplifting? Is it motivating you? Is it opening you up to new perspectives so you can create your dreams and be in flow to create your dreams and your vision in a whole new way? Because I think there can be a majorly dissolving of beliefs and old ways that you saw the world that was limiting you. And, we go through this through life. So we don't even realize what was limiting us until we're like, wait a second, like that was in the back of our minds the entire time. And I think you're definitely going to be, released from that and, have more of a perspective shift. So definitely practice in your everyday life. Affirmations are going to be really powerful right now. Listening to uplifting stuff, having a meditation practice in the morning, having 10-minute affirmation practice in the morning or at night, whatever you really do to really start your rhythm off in a more opening way, and then practicing humility every day, where you can be very expansive and more so in flow with your higher self, because Neptune and Saturn in the ninth house, you have direct access to your higher self right now. And it is all about being in the present moment and listening to those intuitive nudges in everything. With Mercury, that's going to be going retrograde in your fourth house and in your third house. It's like, perspective shifts, mental shifts, shifting around your everyday life. And then maybe deciding to move too with, Mercury retrograde, that can happen in your fourth house, or just cleaning out the clutter in your everyday life and in your home and making home your comfort zone again. So there's more harmony and balance in ways that you can create a little bit more. So the eagle, this is like eagle came out reversed. So it's kind of like where you were a little too zoomed in your everyday life, where you weren't seeing the broader perspective. The eagle has the highest perspective. It's way up here, and then it kind of knows where it can grab that idea or that thing at the right opportune moment. And it's all about kind of zooming out right now, so you can see where you can really do that. because there's some sort of, let's see, eagle reverse. Like, yeah, you were relying on keeping everything balanced, everything organized, everything the way it is. But at the same time, that's where you weren't seeing that far off perspective. In the Knight of Wands reverse, that is about your beliefs. So there were big beliefs that were kind of holding you back. And we get these from religions, cultures, spirituality, just the way we see the world, that is being released that was kind of blocking you off. Because there's going to be a big way that you really connect to your self-worth and your own internal abundance. And, the Nine of Pentacles, she's looking good. She's feeling good. She is abundant. She already just knows her worth. This is majorly like the law of assumption card. And I think the more that you can assume that you already have what you want and what you want, and just assume that until it's in your reality, that can be a really powerful way that you kind of reprogram the way that you live your everyday life. So it just becomes a habit, make that a habit of just assuming what you want is already there, in the present moment, because time is an illusion. Because there's a way, there's ways that you are kind of holding yourself back too, from radiating your true color and your true life force energy, whatever perspective or whatever this was holding you back from really shining out in the world and living out with that life force on a everyday basis, where there was conflict, where there actually didn't really even need to be conflict. Let me read the eagle. Let's see. Let's read the eagle. Yeah, this month, I think you're going to find where you can radiate more of your true self and your higher self. Wait, that's the hawk, not the eagle. Okay, so. All right, so the eagle, all-pervading power, truth seeker, transforms karma. This noble eagle emanates the light of the sun. This great bird is both physically and spiritually strong and represents mastery over the elements of fire and air. When the eagle appears, you'll soon be thrown into the karmic fire for the sake of your transformation. The eagle pushes us to be our best and brightest selves that stops at nothing to see us shine. Grasp the sun in your talons and hold on for the ride. You are stronger than you think, eagle child. When in balance, bright, radiant, challenges. When out of balance, controlling. Bring into balance, step into the unknown. So yeah, a challenge might actually come your way with the Five of Swords reverse. Maybe this was a conflict that you kind of glazed over in the past, but it's coming back so you can really face it now and realize like how much more powerful you are and how much you just weren't recognizing your power in the past. But when you do show up and you do recognize your power and you shine your light to the fullest and you don't hold back, then and you can have power with humility. That's where the true power is. Power with humility, power with love, and letting that kind of, then letting your light kind of guide you in the directions and in the way that you construct things in your everyday life that are really the best for you. The way that you could have always had harmony and balance, where maybe you were over giving, maybe you were over serving, that, you're being released, especially with the Jupiter squaring the sun and all the, just those transits with Gemini, Virgo. There's a lot of old stories that are being released internally, that were subconscious limitations, ways that you got in your own way. So you can release those and show up and show out. Okay. And I want to read the buffalo too, because the buffalo came out and I kind of forgot. But I know the buffalo is steadfast, sturdy, keeps on heading in the right direction and, in a steadfast way. And at the same time, getting those lightning bolts of ideas to improve things. So grounded yet heavenly, practical yet spiritual. The hooves of the mighty buffalo are grounded in the earth, yet its heart and mind rise towards heaven. The buffalo sees challenge, hardship, or a bump in the road as an opportunity for upliftment. Therefore, the buffalo does not fear death, illness, or misfortune. Its gentle eyes look towards the road ahead, trusting in every turn. May we all experience this elusive yet life-changing bliss. From time to time, we may allow this card to remind us that life is a precious gift. When in balance, trusting pure presence. When out of balance, restless, lacks gratitude. Bring into balance by prayer, bhakti. So yeah, maybe you want a spiritual practice in your everyday life, and I think that can like open up your perspective in whole new ways. And if you look at the challenges that come your way as like a gift and just like having that appreciation for life, I think that can open up your perspective majorly. So you can see where you can actually take advantage of this opportunity and grab that dream that was always there, but it's like your perspective is shifting. So you can actually just be it out in the world more so. All right. Thank you so much, Cancer. If you would like a reading, check out my link in bio. Hi, Leo. Okay, so there might be a way that you're kind of releasing an old way that you used to show up out in the world. And it could have been from ego. It could have been more so from self-protection. It could have been something that you used to value that you don't value anymore. It could have to do with relationships or your mentality that kind of goes through a shift. So you can kind of go through this upgrade. And then we're going to be focusing more on the second house and eighth house this month. So there's going to be major ways that you're facing your internal world. And the eighth house is the ugly house. That's the death and rebirth house, where you're facing your shadow. You're facing the deep emotions, and all kinds of emotions can come up, like jealousy, guilt, insecurity, shame, all the lower dense vibrational emotions. But that's so we get awareness around it, so we can realize what was just like actually there that we weren't consciously aware of. So it can be brought up with, and looked at, so we can bring more unconditional love to whatever that emotion is. So we can have more unconditional love for ourselves. And the second house is there's definitely new ways that you can manifest more money, more abundance into your life, but also you could be feeling good, looking good, and really getting pumped up with your self-worth. And looking at this kite though, I think, there's just a major way that you could definitely have creative ideas that are in alignment with your bigger vision, that is a little bit more revolutionary. And maybe you can really ground and make a plan for that vision with whatever you want to manifest. A deep soul contract can come back with Saturn and Neptune in the eighth house. And looks like it's in the seventh house with the later Leos. But this is just so you can face those and maybe close out certain chapters. We're closing out big chapters with intimacy, money, debt, and, saying goodbye to the past 9 years. So we can start a new chapter and be a lot lighter and open up into the new. So what else? Good. Okay. So let's see. The deer came out. You're connecting with your divine feminine energy. And what I've recognized actually is there's so much more power with just choosing love. And there's less of a need to control. When we choose love, when we choose humility, when we choose gratitude, when we choose the higher emotions on the vibrational scale, it opens up our world where we were previously limited before. And so we can actually just be more in flow with more trust and faith and our life force to go in the right direction for us. So the deer came out. It's like there's a softening coming out, and the softening is allowing you to soften into your divine feminine energy, where you can just surrender and flow more with life. But yeah, no, it is weird just getting into your feminine energy. If you're not working with your feminine energy, if you're not actively trying to fall into it every day, as a feminine, as a masculine, like we both have these energies, it is very important to really get familiar with that energy, because then you recognize how much life can just flow and your manifestations can flow with the signs, with the synchronicities, with the being a magnet to the things that you really want, letting the magic actually come towards you. And instead of less force. And it's kind of like, that's a big way that all the veils or programs that were previously there, the world just opens up in a whole new way. So really choosing love all the time. I mean, as much as you can, like it's not easy to choose humility and to choose love all the time, but like the more that you can, the more that your world will definitely open up, because you're definitely tuning into the fluidity. And I love that, because that Pisces energy in the eighth house is majorly activated, and you got the fish. Let me read the fish actually, because you're remembering who you are at a deeper level, like not just this lifetime. Many past lifetimes are kind of coming together right now. And it's hard to be really conscious of that, but that that's happening when you get into the feelings of that. And those deeper, intense feelings that you don't know why you're feeling so intensely sometimes about something or direction or a thing, but that's because you're connecting with your past self, with your present self, with, above time. So you know what direction to go in. And yeah, it's all about connecting to the higher energies and love. So things can kind of flow a little bit easier. You're connecting to the subconscious in a very big way. So the fish energy came out. Restlessness, change of focus, lost in the current. The fish loves to be subsumed in life's current. Nothing pleases it more than movement, and more movement. The roaming lifestyle of the fish may be exhilarating for a while, but usually leads to weariness and slippery relationships. With all the possibilities out there in the vast waters, the fish becomes lost without clear goals and intentions. Spend some time with the lunar forces, dear fish. At peace and calm of the moon will soothe your soul. So when in balance, adaptable, travels well. When out of balance, distracted, changes mind often. Bring into balance, set a small goal and accomplish it. So yeah, we can really get lost in like kind of dreamy relationship land, I guess, with this stuff being in the eighth house. You can really be facing the eighth house is where we face all our deepest fears and insecurities and self-doubts and all of the ways we attach in relationships. And that can actually make us very misguided. When we need to bring the attention back to ourselves with this energy, and what do we really desire? And at the same time, recognizing what if we need that relationship, if we're like obsessed about that relationship, if we feel like we need that person or that, and it can be a material thing too. If we feel like we need that thing to feel complete, that's something actually that you need to go within and find that love for yourself, and that you already have it, because there's something about that comes from a place of a previous wound or something like that. And it's hard to explain until you actually go in and do the internal work to get to that place to where you can just let that love overflow, and where you can get to that place of detachment. And so you become more of a magnet towards what's really meant for you. And so you can recognize that you already have it all, and you can focus more of your life force energy towards the things that you can control right now and what's in your life right now, to manifest your best life. Okay. So Yeah, I think there might be an ego death a little bit with Venus crossing the South Node. The Six of Wands came out reversed. So this was a way that maybe we thought we needed to be shiny and, charismatic or whatever, bold out in the world. That was about pleasing others and less, moving from that place of self-love. There's going to be a way that we can find out that we can move from that place of self-love and for our own enjoyment and our enjoyment of life versus feeling like we're putting on this show to please because we know what the people want, so don't get stuck in that because you will always shine your radiant light when you just are doing what really pleases you, what makes you happy, what fills your heart up. And yeah, because let's see. And yeah, there might be a way that you're getting out of your comfort zone. The Hermit came out. Let me clarify the Hermit. I think that's about trying, like, it's time to bring some of your dreams into reality. It's time to really plant those seeds. I think there's something that you've been going back and forth with, that you have been maybe indecisive with, where it's actually like you spent enough time in the cave. Now it's time to actually do it. Now it's time to actually like bring that vision that you have within you out into reality. And, you can manifest your dreams in a very effortless way. And it's all about like, remembering more of who you are and maybe what you need to say out in the world and what's really just in your heart. What are you visualizing that really does need to be created out in the world. But yeah, Nine of Cups coming out. So releasing disappointment. So Four of Cups. I think this is like where you might have been emotionally stuck on something, and it could have to do with a relationship. There could be a message of love coming your way. But realizing where you are stuck in like disappointment, sadness, whatever, where you're actually freeing yourself and where you're looking more at the bright side in the better cup that was actually meant for you. Because he's, sad about these cups down here, but look, this is like a godly cup that's like taking you towards higher manifestations. So definitely follow the nudges this month. Really follow those intuitive pulls in certain directions. Really tune into your intuition. And this energy doesn't fully make sense in a logical way. This is you tuning into the feminine energy. So you can trust the unseen, trust the mystery, trust the ways that the universe pulls things together, and then really just trusting how you feel in the moment. So, things can come together in a better way. All right, Leo, if you would like a reading, check out my link in bio. Hi, Virgo. Okay, so you're definitely dealing with yourself and relationships this month. There's going to be a new way that you can show up out in the world. And you're planting seeds. This is a great month to start doing that identity work so you can, be more fully embodied. And yeah, or this is coming up for your reading. Like, I did recently just switch to this system, but I recognized how important it is to have so much more time for Virgo season because it takes a lot. I've never gotten completely organized during Virgo season until this year. And look how big it is. And that's necessary to get your work right, to get your routine right, to organize in the right way, to have right structure, to get everything really nice. You do need extra time because this is the foundation of life. So, and this is a way that you can find out how can you shine out in the world in your best light, in the best way you can. So you actually don't have to put so much effort. Because with Saturn and Neptune in the 7th house and the 6th house, there is a way that you're unwinding the way you maybe had to push so hard, the way you forced things a little too much, the way you needed control, the way you needed, to have a plan, the way you needed things to be structured way too far in advance. all those things where you can release, you can relax. You weren't meant to carry it all. You're really meant to just focus on your strengths and also at the same time, maybe be a little bit vulnerable in certain relationships, whether it is business or professional or romantic, where things are going to get balanced out, you know? Judgment is being called. So, yeah. And it's more important to focus on the tiny things in life and the magic in life and tuning in internally first, you know, having that vision of what you want to experience externally, and then following the signs and the synchronicities and the magic out in the world. You know, this mousy is looking for magic. So I love that. um, because yeah, there was a way that you were dimming your fire, dimming your passion, and not looking at other ways to do things. And this could be because you were just too zoomed in, where you can tune into gratitude, humility, love, and kind of open up, you know, with more curiosity with how things should actually go. So you can actually follow your passion so things can be fun again for yourself and for everybody. So you can be a little bit more dynamic and malleable so things can come together in a lot more fun, passionate, exciting way, because the ways that things were too stuck or rigid was actually limiting you and not allowing you to explore into the new. And this could be new passion, new relationships, adventures, opportunities, excitements. And yeah, you're stepping into that. It definitely could have to deal with relationships. You know, the swan came out. So this is definitely like high level soulmate card, can be a twin flame card. But there's ways that you might have been blocking yourself from the adventure of love by trying to keep things a certain way, where you weren't listening, instead of like listening to the passion, listening to where things should be mixed up. You weren't listening where things needed a plan. You weren't listening to that passion, that nudge where your heart was calling you, that is taking you towards what you love, whether it is a relationship or just like more of what you love and your passions and your interests. But for those of you that want love, this is a very good sign that love can definitely come in. Just have fun with it, be flexible, be adaptable. Let the new perspectives come in, be open. Because let's see, practice flexibility came up reverse. So there's a way that you were not flexible, where being flexible can let the magic happen this month. And then 5 of Cups. Yeah, not being flexible did lead to just a lot of disappointment and a lot of like storytelling, like, oh, it always happens this way. Oh, like I knew this would happen. Oh, you know, just the ways that you got stuck back into the disappointment, where it's like, no, you're still going in the right direction. Just like be open, stay open, like be open with the love. Like the magic is coming and even more is coming. Then, oops. More is coming than you previously expected, but it's all about staying open to it. It's all about following that passion, your heart, your fire, to go in the direction that's meant for you. And then Strength card came out. For those of you that are in a relationship, some of you might have to speak up with the my cough. I think there is a way that you can speak up from a more vulnerable, softer place. And I think you'll be surprised with how much more you can maybe get on the same page, you know, in your current relationship. And yeah, it's like opening up this whole new world of possibilities of having really strong relationships that can get ugly, that can not be perfect, that can be a little chaotic. But at the same time, if you get to that soul resonance of truth and wanting to both improve and be better and, appreciating both of your strengths, then you can grow in such a beautiful, magical way in your relationships. Benny, oh my God. Okay, she's clawing the thing. Okay, and lamb came out. It's a soft energy. So love and swan and lamb. So very soft energy, like embrace your soft side. this month. So peaceful, prophetic, patient. The Lamb is the bearer of an important message. Its contents can only be heard when a deep level of quiet has been established. Lamb energy is the honest guidance you hear from an old friend, a young child, or sometimes a surprising stranger. Though Lamb's message, you hear, she's clawing the hell out of that. Through the Lamb's message may channel through another person, the wisdom resonates within you. It will repeat and reverberate until you listen. Approach this gentle creature with utmost patience and reverence. Truth is a gift. Sit still, listen, receive. So when in balance, knowing inner peace. When out of balance, quiet, timid, concerned. Bring into balance, meditation, listening. So yeah, you're definitely being guided to kind of slow down and soften this month, because I think that can open up you up to your own intuitive guidance. And then also, in relationships or in the way that you want to approach things moving forward, I think there can be a way smoother, more harmonious ways that you can go about things that is more from that place of alignment. And look at Amy showing up. She reminds me of the lamb. Yeah. She's like that, Lammy. Okay, Virgo, thank you so much. If you would like a reading, check out my link in bio. Hi, Libra. Okay, so let's see what's going on for you. You are getting ready for a Mercury retrograde in your first house. So you're going to be going over yourself, your identity. This is going to be a good time to really do that identity work with how do you show up out in the world? How can you embody more of that highest version of yourself? How can you assert yourself more where you might have not asserted yourself more? How have you not prioritized your goals and your dreams and your visions and what you really want to manifest in your life? Because with Mars in your first house, that's your relationship, your significant other in your first house. They're coming to you. So they're going to be focusing on you, but you have the sword in your hand with what you want, your wants, your desires, your needs. How do you want things to be more balanced and harmonious? What do you want out of your relationships? What do you want out of life? And what conversations do you need to have? What mental perspectives can shift? But yeah, I think there's always a way that we can update how we show up out in the world. And this is what you're majorly getting in tune with, especially with everything in Virgo in your 12th house. You're in this chart, it's like friendships and your career. So there's a big focus with your career and your so your imagination and your higher self speaking to you and your dreams and you're just your higher self speaking to you. And then that's the same with like the 11th house. Like, how do you want to reach your hopes and your dreams and your highest manifestations? And what friends are you really aligning with right now? And how do you want to show up online on social media? How do you show up at your career? Are you doing what you really want to be doing when it comes to your career? Are you doing what you love? And how can that all be in alignment now? Because with Venus crossing the South Node too in your career house, there might be things that you let go when it comes to your long-term goals and your legacy and, how you show up out at work or just like what you're known for out in the world, that you can get more in alignment with in that more internal way with what is really important to you. And then at the same time, looking at that long-term exciting vision of what you really want to manifest. And getting all into alignment with that. This is a really powerful Mercury retrograde though. So you can, because the more you step into that embodiment, that is the most important manifestation house. So know what you want to go after, know how you can, step into that highest level embodiment. So magic can kind of happen around you. And with Saturn and Neptune in the fourth house, there might be big ways that you're emotionally releasing yourself. Maybe things were a little melancholy internally. Maybe there was just not a lot of that internal clarity with your core foundation, with how you're feeling, where now you can really release old stories, release the past, have more compassion, have more love. And it can be very freeing. It can be very uplifting. So you can have your internal core, you can be feeling more. And okay, so the fourth house, I always, connect it to what are you feeling most of the time? Are you feeling happy? Are you feeling sad? Are you feeling reverence, which means closest to God? Are you feeling peace? And that's important to pay attention to, because that's what you're feeling most of the time is what you're magnetizing towards you. So clearing out what is no longer serving you so you can have more compassion, unconditional love, and, connection and oneness. So you can kind of open up the world to you in a whole different way where you're easily magnetizing things to you. Okay. But yeah, some of you maybe are deciding to move. The beaver came out reversed. So it's like an old foundation that you thought was secure, that was stable. And this could be an emotional foundation. This could be an actual place that you're living that you actually want to move. This could be just, going back to past home and family. So you can release something so you can build stronger in the future. Hold true to your vision. You're getting major intuitive insights this month. And it's kind of like pulling things together in a very magical way. The octopus, it's kind of like has 8 arms. It kind of has tendrils and it pulls things in. But yeah, I think you're receiving big downloads and visions with where you want to go and how to get there. And yeah, just pay attention to your dreams, visions, imagination, because that looks very, very powerful. And I think that will later allow you to take a leap in a certain direction. Because it's like you are majorly steady, consistent, reliable, and for a very long time. The buffalo came out. The buffalo is very steadfast, sturdy, practical, constantly trotting along the prairie, even if there's good things happening or bad things happening. The buffalo does see challenges as opportunities for growth and innovation and going towards the new. So definitely, if any challenges come your way, I think this is an opportunity. This is an opportunity for you to really state what you want. You got very powerful cards. So new ideas coming your way with Page of Swords and Ace of Swords, like new mental clarity with a different way to do things. And it's allowing you to really step into this bold feminine energy, which is, the Queen of Swords and the Queen of Wands. So there's passion, new exciting directions, a way that you can maybe blaze your own path and trail that's really just meant for you and more about your happiness and listening to your strong intuition and your internal compass. But at the same time, you're doing it from a place that is very logical and wise and balanced. And you also see the broader perspective. So I think, definitely pay attention this month with what you're getting intuitively. And let me read the beaver, actually. So beaver. Okay. And it came out reversed. So hard worker, loyal, tirelessness, family first. The beaver personality is a welcome sight. These good-natured and dependable creatures have infinite love and enthusiasm for family and expresses it by way of the earth element, providing a home, financial stability. Although a beaver doesn't usually initiate a project once started, they'll work steadily for weeks, months, or years to see it through. The beaver card appears when the task at hand requires your long-term steady effort. It can also signify that it's time for some karma yoga, selfless service. So when in balance, happy, meaningful work. When out of balance, feels useless, worn out. Bring into balance by physical labor, selfless service. So yeah, I think you helping out others can really broaden your perspective this month. Where you were pushing too hard and working too hard, I think you're opening up to a whole new way to do things that is more in the highest good of all and more flexible, more exciting. And yeah, it's leading you towards more happy and meaningful work, which makes sense because actually, like in the whole sign house, Saturn and Neptune are in your sixth house. I always have the sixth, like both going on in my brain, by the way. I have this chart, but I know the whole sign system so well. So that's like, back there when I'm like doing these things. And yeah, that message came out for you. So be more in flow with work, your daily life, your routines, and really see how things can flow together, like in a more synchronistic way that is for the highest good of all and less needing to control and everything. Hold that vision within, and then things will really come together in the highest way possible. All right, Libra, if you would like a reading, check out my link in bio. Ophucius, I'm going to do both of you guys together because it's such a similar chart. So this is going on with your 10th house and your 9th house. I'm going to do Scorpio and Ophucius together because it's such a similar chart. So we're working with your hopes and your dreams and your visions for the future, and you're really, really passionate about it. Also, there's a way that you can kind of show up out in your work, out in the world, and more in alignment with your bigger long-term goals from a place of more authenticity. Releasing what you used to value and what you used to love and what you used to, the old way that was very fixed of the way you used to do things out in the world, whether it is with work or just how you show up, that is being released so you can align with higher values and higher ways to manifest and create. With all of this in your 10th house, it's like, how can you be more of service? Yeah, I think this is a good month to really focus on just the love of life and the love of service to others and practicing humility and just the beauty of life every day. More gratitude and more appreciation for the world and just being alive. And from that place, I think you can see more magic and opportunities and flow come your way in a more effortless way. And then at the same time, I think you'll see how that can get you into alignment with your true core of who you really are. And, emotionally, how you prioritizing emotionally, how you want to feel more regularly. What do you feel most of the time? Is it happiness? Is it joy? Is it excitement? Is it, or is it sad? Is it depression? Is it, melancholy? Seeing what can you release so you feel like, more abundant, more how you want to feel more on a regular basis. And there was this show that I was watching, 90 Day Fiance, the other way, where she's just having a panic attack on the boat, and like her girlfriend won't leave her alone, and she's making it way worse. And I'm kind of yelling at the TV because I have really bad anxiety. So I'm like, leave her alone. Shut the hell up. Like, let her be depressed right now. She needs to be depressed. Or just like I get the anxiety, like needing to just like kind of be for a second and be alone to really reset. But besides that, anyway, like besides, for the random occurrence when you're not feeling how you want to feel, this is a good time to kind of retrain yourself to feel more of what you want to feel. more so on a regular basis. Because the fourth house is like setting how you want to feel most of the time. So you are a magnet from the universe of the better things, the higher things, if you're choosing to feel better in general. And what can be released about the past, or anything internally that's leading you towards, the stories of melancholy or depression or whatever, what can be released into more love and forgiveness. So you can choose more of what you want to feel. I think you can have a lot of internal breakthroughs this month with Mercury and Mars in your 12th house. That's so funny. The bat came out. The bat always reminds me of like sleepless nights, a little bit, like staying up late. What did I just do to this? Okay, whatever. Staying up late. You might not be getting a lot of sleep. You might be a little agitated, but at the same time, this is like maybe you wake up at that certain moment to write that thing down from your dream, and it's important. Like, so a dream journal can be very useful for you this month. And at the same time, I think you're getting a lot of guidance from the unseen. Because with this Mercury retrograde happening in your first house, in your 12th house, you are connecting with all timelines. The 12th house is like the past, it's the present, it's the future, it's the universe. You are connecting to the broader perspective and your higher self in a really big way. And you're getting emotionally pulled, just emotion, like intuition in a very strong way, emotionally with, I don't know, whatever guidance that you need, a certain direction, a certain thing you want to do, what's going to be really, truly fulfilling. The camel came out. It's like you have been maybe doing something in a certain way that was very sustainable for a long term, but maybe it's about getting out of what's sustainable and really listening to your emotions so you can find just the more abundant way to strive towards what you really want. And then at the same time, really listening to what's deeply emotionally fulfilling to you. So yeah, King of Swords came out. I think you're getting a wide perspective with something. The King of Swords is very wise, kind of perched at the mountaintop, kind of has a view of how things can go. And I think you're getting a perspective about where things were in balance. And this could be with work, where there wasn't an equal give and take, or where things can just be more balanced with your coworkers, moving forward into the future. Because, yeah, again, this imbalance, like I think there was some sort of, just contract, possibly judgment reverse contract, or situation or relationship that came into your life that was imbalanced also. And I think you're ending that cycle in a big way. So judgment can be righted. And also this can be just see where you made a judgment call too early, where you could actually be a little bit more open to a different perspective, a different way of viewing the world, a different way of seeing things. Be curious, be humble, because being humble opens you up to new perspectives and just opens you. So you can understand, I think, the other in a whole new way. The Lovers came out. So I think this month can be a big month where you connect to your significant other, your relationships in a whole new way that is more vulnerable, more open, more so from that vulnerable place versus letting the fears take control and letting you, and acting out of the ego. But yeah, and it might be going back to an old fling for some of you with the Ace of Wands that came out reversed. A fling coming back from the past to be reevaluated, but realize wherever you can just have more love and compassion and open up your heart is where the true love and the true soulmate will actually come in. And for you single ones, this can be a time where you really open yourself to love, and you open yourself to a true soulmate connection that can come in. So don't forget to laugh with life this month. There's a way that you can kind of find the humor with things, and that will allow you to be a little bit more adaptable and open instead of triggered and shut down. And then worship at the temple. Definitely make sure you're worshiping your temple and your body, and at the same time, maybe having a spiritual practice every day, or a practice where you're just taking care of yourself and your needs a little bit more, having that vision internally, so externally it's easier to manifest more of what you want. And then the zebra came out, so I want to read the zebra the zebra. Zebra is all about, I think you're definitely getting in tune with your own unique core and your own unique essence, and so letting that shine a little bit more out in the world, even if it's weird, even if it's different, wherever you put a cap on that, you're really letting that out now, so you can attract more of what's really meant for you, whether it is relationships or jobs or opportunities. I want to read the bat instead. So let's read the bat. The bat. Darkness, letting go, death leading to rebirth. Before emerging, the bat waits for the sun to set and the moon to rise. In the darkness, it can see all that was invisible in the daylight hours. The bat is a master of the subtle senses of the underlying forces that can cause some things to prosper and other things to fade. The bat card shows up to signify the ending of a chapter, the closing of a door. The bat comes swiftly, encouraging us to move on. In just a few hours, a new day dawns, no more lingering in the past. So I think you're getting rid of, and when in balance, accepts, adapts, adjusts. When out of balance, refuses to let go, reminisces. Bring into balance by watching the sunrise. So yeah, you're facing certain darknesses or certain ways that maybe you got in your own way in the past, where you can release these stories, release the subconscious blocks, release whatever is internal, so you can focus on a whole new way of manifesting out in the world, because there can be a whole new way that you can go after your hopes, your dreams, and your visions for the future that is more in alignment with who you truly are, and more adaptable, more flexible, more fun, more of you putting your soulful essence and imprint into whatever you're creating. That can open up the whole world for you in a whole new way. So trust the vision that you receive this month. And then I think that's a way things will definitely balance out also. All right, Scorpio, if you would like a reading, check out my link in bio. And Ophucius, check out my link in bio if you would like a reading, and let me know if you want your own reading again. Hi, Sagittarius. Okay, so there can be a big way that you're releasing previous beliefs with a previous worldview, with how you can manifest out in the world, so you can actually be more in alignment moving forward with a higher way of seeing the world, with maybe leading with your heart more. And this is going to be a major month where you can plant the seeds and restructure the way you create, the way you want to go after your legacy. There's a major unwinding of the old ways you used to do things when it comes to your legacy and work and career. And if you're an entrepreneur, maybe you're leaning into more of the creative ways that you can do things, or looking into the future. But this is a great month where you can kind of start restructuring in a different way, but at the same time, be more adaptable, be more flexible, and don't try to bring the past into the present. It's looking into the future. It's looking into the new ways. It's kind of, being excited, and you're going to be very motivated with your hopes and your dreams and your visions for the future. But yeah, at the same time, you're going to be reevaluating these things, like what people fit, what networks fit, how do I show up on social media? How can I, be more motivated with this higher vision that I want to go after? And in a way that is authentically me and coming from the core of my being versus maybe in the past of pleasing society. So with Saturn and Neptune in the third, there's definitely a big mental reprogramming going on. And in the second, like a different way you can think about money, actually, because money moving into the energetic age, it is all about energy and, you know, really doing what you love and doing what you're soulfully called to do. And, yeah, more focusing on the abundance, you know, as long as you can tap into the energy and stay, you know, connected to source, connected to your higher self, the more that you can create in a very effortless way with source just moving through you. And then you just focusing more on what you value. So you can receive more of that abundance. And maybe you can be a little mentally scattered all over the place. But this is where you can kind of go through a transformation and prioritize what do you do on a daily basis? Do you scroll a lot? Do you do affirmations? What do you read? What do you listen to? How do you speak to yourself? What is going on an everyday basis? And how can you maybe direct it more towards your hopes and your dreams and your future and see how you can, and really being mindful of that internal vision on a daily basis, you know, connecting it to it in the morning or at night or doing affirmations throughout the day so you can manifest your dreams into reality in a very wondrous, beautiful new way that is aligned with you and your higher self. What, Demi? Oh, too many cards that came out. Okay, so yeah, the Ace of Pentacles came out reversed. So there's an old way of material stability or, yeah, just finances, financial security that is kind of being released right now. And it is more so about connecting to this high priestess energy, that divine feminine energy in your higher self and the universe, and receiving that insight and that knowing. Okay, the Scorpio card came out again, because I think there's ways that you were kind of really blocked off from seeing things from a higher perspective, and it was all mental, where you're releasing the mental self-sabotage. The Ten of Swords reversed, it's like mental self-sabotage is being released, and it's like the final time where it clicks, and it's like, I've been doing this the whole time, where it's like, okay, like we're releasing the self-defeat, we're releasing the ways that we get in our own way, we're releasing the blocks that were keeping us from seeing a higher perspective. Because the Eight of Swords came out, it's like, you're free, you just weren't seeing right. So definitely humility, you know, prioritizing humility with how you show up out in the world next and how you go after what you love and how you want to serve others, and being open and flexible and just open to new ways and perspectives. That's where the new ideas will come. And maybe a message actually comes your way to help you achieve what you want to achieve. But I think this month, actually, you're realizing how much power you have. Because if you prioritize your vision, you know, in your high priestess energy, your divine feminine energy, your manifestation energy, doing the affirmations, visualizing, whatever your mode of manifestation is, and putting a lot of your energy there, I think you're going to see the world open up in a whole new way and flow in a whole new way that is very effortless and very easy. So and it's where you weren't holding your own vision as truth, actually, where you can really like write down your vision, make affirmations for your vision, really listen, give yourself that quiet time to really slow down and receive. I think you're going to be receiving majorly this month, where these are big, wondrous ideas and ideas that are from your future self, or your past self, or whatever you need right now, you know, to really go after, so you have all the tools that you need. So be open to receiving. And I think that's going to release a lot of blocks. And that's also going to introduce a whole new way to make financial security and stability. As the dragonfly came out, you're going through this transformation and you're realizing that by holding your vision as true and becoming a magnet to everything that you want to manifest, it is going to give you a lot more freedom and flexibility, and it's going to allow you to transform into your higher self in a whole new magical way. So you can show up out in the world in a very magical, easy, effortless way. So Scorpion came out, passionate, competitive, tends towards isolation. The Scorpion is passionate and determined creature. Their career is very important to them as they are to them as are a few select friends. Sometimes the Scorpion's heat festers and they focus on an unresolved event from the past, usually a situation where they're feeling left burned. The Scorpion card says it's time to come clean about your feelings so everyone can heal you and you can get back to your usual fiery but fun self. So when in balance, wild, free, fierce; when out of balance, jealous, resentful, unresolved. Bring into balance honesty, forgiveness. So yeah, I think you're diving back into the past and at something deep and intense and maybe a little frustrating. And it could have to do with friendships or, just something. But this is, you're recognizing where you spent your time, wasting it in jealousy, revenge, anger, frustration, whatever, where you can let it the fuck go and get back to the passion again and what's really important and into more of your purpose and more of what you want to be driven towards. And I want to read the dragonfly too. So you're becoming a master of light. As a Sagittarius, that's what you are. As long as you go through that transformation, you become a master of light and you actually do create more light around you. So master of light, illusion, and the mind. The dragonfly is ancient and ethereal creature that awakens in a sense of wonder and awe. The dragonfly is a symbol of the mind as it always is moving, shifting, simmering, changing. When the dragonfly card appears, it's worth considering the quality of your mind and perception. Are they restless or still, dreamlike or crystal clear? The situation at hand may be different than it appeared at first glance. The dragonfly reminds us to calm the mind so the light of wisdom can shine through. When in balance, he's clearly joyful and magical. When out of balance, can't concentrate, busy mind. So yeah, definitely spend some time releasing so you can really clear your mind and bring it more back to the compassion and love and receive the vision, the higher inspiration, the bigger soulful message or the bigger soulful mission and purpose with where you're really meant to be going towards with manifesting the new. All right, Sagittarius, if you would like a reading, check out my link in bio. Hi, Capricorn. Okay, so this is going to be happening in your second house and in your eighth house. So this is majorly, wait, one sec. Actually, one sec. Hi, Capricorn. Okay. There might be an old way that you're facing relationships, or maybe somebody comes back from the past. So you reflect on relationships in a whole new way. So you release what no longer serves you so you can up level what you want and what you want to manifest out of your relationships. And you can be going through a big adjustment with your beliefs, your worldview, and how can you get more into alignment with what soulfully feels good. And you're passionate about your career, about your new visions, new dreams, whatever you want to manifest. That's a part of your long-term goal and how you want to show up out in the world. And you're going to be going back and forth with this with, how do you want to do more of what you love at work? How can you show up as your brightest self? How can you be more in alignment with your legacy and purpose in life, that does motivate you, that does make you feel driven, that does make you feel like you can really go to the next level. So yeah, the Six of Cups came out. So yeah, some soulmate relationship might be coming back from the past, or there's a whole new way that you can reconnect with somebody from the past. Either way, it looks like visit to the past, soulmate connection that feels nice, that feels like home, that feels loving. And there can be a new way of communicating. Wow, I love this. So I think you're definitely up leveling your worth and your value this month too. With Saturn and Neptune in the second house, I think the more you can have unconditional love for yourself, the more you're tuning into your, Empress energy, your divine feminine energy, and magnetizing in the right connections towards you. But either this is a new way of communicating in relationships or a whole new perspective that's happening, that's a breakthrough towards relationships, that's leading you towards more love and into more of a connection that truly values you and truly just respects you. And yeah, you just know your worth, you know your value. The Empress, she just radiates, she already has everything that she wants. She's looking good, she's feeling good, she's in her soft feminine energy of receiving. And yeah, it's all about kind of getting into that internal space within so you can receive the highest love from a place of unconditional love, and then from a place of knowing who you are. I think you're remembering who you are at a higher level this month. And you're finding your voice and you're really speaking up, and you're speaking up for your vision and for, just what you really desire. Because there can be a big transformation with internal fears, and maybe there was lack, maybe there was, doubts, insecurities. There can be a way that you can find that deep self-love again, so you can show up out in the world in a whole new way and magnetize everything to you, whether it is relationships, jobs, opportunities, whatever. And this is helping you upgrade your self-worth. And you're slowing down. You're recognizing it isn't all about pushing, forcing, going. You're recognizing your power with Pluto going direct at 0 degrees in your sign. You're recognizing your power, the way you already had it, and it was all about going inside first to recognize that you already have it versus looking externally to you at anybody else or following the herd. Because the rabbit came out reversed, and the rabbit can get very, very frantic, run around, like, it hears something from the other rabbits that is fear or panic, like the hawk's going to eat me. And then they run around, they tell each other they're frantic. And then the hawk's like, okay, what a good idea. I'm going to do that. So you're recognizing where you can actually soften into stillness again. And you're releasing this frantic energy. You're releasing the need to push and push and push, versus recognizing where you can just be and remember more of who you are and remember more of what's truly meant for you, so you can make your dreams come true in a very effortless, easy way. So yeah, you're becoming magnetic this month. Definitely love coming towards you and your feminine energy getting pumped up. So this is going to be a powerful time to make a daily practice, visualizing, meditating, writing, scripting, whatever mode of manifestation you really like. So you can focus on that, have that internal vision so strongly within with whatever you want to bring into your world. So you can literally just magnetize it to you. That's the only messages that is coming. Like, you're becoming a magnet towards soulmate relationships, towards love, definitely big love coming your way, in communication coming your way. And it all comes from remembering who you are. And yeah, do that feminine energy work too. Flow with that feminine energy, whether you're masculine or feminine, we have both. But feminine energy is very, very strong this month. And I think that'll help you get whatever you want to manifest in this month. But what else was I going to say? Because one sec. Okay. What was I going to say? Yeah. Oh, a soulmate relationship, and this could be a friend too, is going to help you remember who you are. It's kind of like somebody coming back from the past to show you more of that love and that remembrance. And you're like, oh, this is nice. But yeah, so if you're in a relationship, strong communication in relationships and real bonding and getting together. And if you're single, this is going to be a really good time to find love. All right. So thank you so much, Capricorn. If you would like a reading, check out my link in bio. All right, Aquarius, let's see what is going to be going on for you. So we have this Saturn Neptune stuff going on in your first house. So this has to do with yourself and your identity. And there could be a lot of just releasing of programming or just ways you thought about yourself, ways of being that aren't serving you anymore. So you can really release them and align more with your higher self. At the same time, you're aligning with relationships in a whole new way with Venus that's going to be crossing the South Node in your 7th house. Releasing what you used to value about relationships or dealing with relationships in a certain way. So you can maybe lead more with your heart and open up your heart more. And just elevate what you value about your relationships. At the same time, having those deeper conversations is going to be really powerful. And you might go through a little bit of a back and forth with that, with this Mercury retrograde coming up. If there's relationship issues, there could be extra triggers to like bring those deeper emotions to the surface. So you really face things and go through that, deep internal realization of what you deeply need, what you deeply desire, what, soft parts and vulnerabilities do you need to recognize so you can, at the end of the day, lead with more vulnerability and truth and openness and self-love at the end of the day. But yeah, relationships should be really beautiful. I think there is a whole new way that you can kind of, just find new balance and new harmony in your relationships. And also with work, where are you investing your time and your energy, and where can things be a little bit more balanced, maybe a little bit more fair? Yeah. That's like, yeah, 8th house is always like your time and your energy and making sure that you're not being depleted and that it is very equally fair and balanced with where you're directing your time and your energy. But I think, yeah, Sea Serpent, I think you can receive major, like deep creative impulses this next month. So it is really good because I love 8th house transits, actually, even though it's a little uncomfortable. This really shows you like intense, deep triggers, that just rise to the surface. And it's always the deeper feelings like resentment, guilt, shame, just any yuckiness, disappointment, anger, that you can just have awareness with, because that is a deep soul impulse where you need to come to acceptance, and then where you can make a change, and go towards more enlightenment, more of your desires, more of your passions, more ways that you just can unblock yourself from stuffing those emotions down and just accepting like feeling that way, which you shouldn't, so you bring those emotions up so you can, make a change and go after your desires in a new way. So yeah, let's get to the cards, because you're claiming your sovereignty in a whole new way. You're going to be able to shed skin, and that's definitely going to be happening with this Mercury retrograde. seeing where you like held on to stuff and shedding the old skin. We're finishing up this, well, no, we're not even close to finishing up the 9 year, but it's already October, so it's so weird. You're shedding the old layers of the past 9 years where you're knowing, what you're done with now. You know what chapters are closing. And this could be big old chapters with how you used to show up out in the world, which you can, claim your sovereignty in a whole new way and align with the right relationships and partnerships. But it all starts with you first. You got to visualize, you got to imagine what kind of life you want to live, what kind of relationships, what kind of work you want to do, where do you want to live, and really get in tune with that so you can show up more firm with that and, kind of go in that direction. The sea serpent, though, I want to read this, but this is basically, an abundance of life force energy, of creative energy. This always reminds me of the 8th house because this is our emotional life force energy that gets us to create things that are very fulfilling, that kind of elevate us out of cycles of karma and everything. But you're really deciding what you want to commit to. What do you want to commit your time and energy to? The Hierophant card, it is all about tradition. It's about spirituality. It's about religion sometimes. It's about marriage. What do you want to commit your time and your energy to, and really evaluating that so you can put that as a priority. The Page of Wands came out reverse, and the Page of Swords came out. So it's like a fiery message might be coming your way, but you're being very logical about it. Or like, instead of being reactionary towards something, maybe see this as an opportunity to see things a little bit more clearly and to give clarity to something, whether it is a project or a relationship. And let me get a little bit more clarity, because the Queen of Wands came out reverse and the Hangman. But the Cosmic Egg come out. It's like there's a total rebirth happening. So 2 of Cups reversed. It is potentially like a readjustment going through. You might be going through a big readjustment with a certain relationship. Maybe there's a way that you need to claim your fire a little bit more, that you were dimming yourself down for somebody, but now is not the time for that, where you can come to more acceptance with things, but at the same time, you're getting to that internal place where you can make a change and go in the direction that is going to be best for you. And you could be letting somebody go, or just at least coming to that place of, well, I need to let it go. I might need to let it go if it's not that higher direction that I'm going in. But the way you're going to know is by connecting to this High Priestess energy. So your intuition, your dreams, visualizing. I think you're majorly being pushed towards the right relationships that are an equal give and take. They are fair, they are balanced, they are helping you to pump up and show up out in the world in a whole new way. And it's majorly relying with the unseen, though. You're going to get a lot of information from the unseen and that internal knowing and feeling that you feel in your body, with knowing what relationships, what projects, what direction is going to be the best for you. Let me pull one more card. And maybe some of you have to release a relationship to make room for the love that you truly want. Yeah. Okay. So seeing where you're not listening to, Temperance came out reverse. So where you do need to acknowledge spirit more. Temperance, when it's imbalanced, it's temperance when balanced is all about balancing out the spiritual with the material. So where can you kind of have that inner vision and use your imagination and intuition to make your dreams come true in the material in a way faster way? because yeah, love can come in fast, abundance can come in fast, but I think definitely you leaning into your vision. And we visualize, when we connect to our imagination, that is just us connecting to our higher selves, and it does get us into alignment with manifesting these things more. So be patient, and maybe some of you want to go back to school or kind of learn something a little bit more about what you're doing, or get the details right about something, because the Eight of Pentacles is like working on something but getting everything really, really right, making sure you have the skills up leveled and all the details right. Okay, so let me read the cause or the sea serpent. Two mystical cards, though. Two mythic creatures from the back of the book. So it seems like a pretty big month for you. So sea serpent. I'm going to read both of them. Healing emotional wounds, expressing desires. The sea serpent represents the energy of expression, whether it's emotions, creativity, sensuality, or desire. The sea serpent helps us move and direct our energy into a healthy current. When the essence of this card is in balance, we express ourselves creatively and sexually without fear or shame. We know what we desire most. Our hearts are at ease and our relationships are meaningful and enduring. We loosen the grip of self-judgment, and we let the cool waters of forgiveness in to heal our wounds. When the energy of the sea serpent is not yet activated, our emotions and creativity are left in muddy waters. The current of expression stagnates in some areas of our lives, and in other places it floods. It's important to remember, no matter what the waters of our emotional lives look like, the sea serpent loves us just the same. Like a mother, she wraps herself around us in a gesture of protection. She supports us as we learn to express our true nature. Yeah, that's eighth house stuff. This always reminds me of the eighth house, because it is going into the muddying emotions to see where we need to express our full self and have that, bigger expression of self-love and self-expression. Okay. Show the world who you truly are, and those who love your shadow will love you unconditionally. Okay, and the cosmic egg. So this is definitely like a rebirth energy and like a seed being planted with your new identity. Completion, harmony, the infinite within the finite. The cosmic egg is the final card in the journey of the animal spirit deck, and it represents the unfolding of cosmic consciousness. This state emerges after we have tread the path for quite some time, and through the self-effort and grace, we experience self-realization and a sense of contentment and oneness spontaneously arises within us, and the veils of our self-limiting beliefs are lifted. When the essence of the cosmic egg has not been activated, we may feel as if we'll never get there, or that we travel alone, disconnected from others. Even if our encounter with this card is brief, appearing as a momentary glimmer or flash of interconnectedness, its potent energy stays with us. The cosmic egg is a remedy for the fragmentation of modern life. It is through the power of this card that we are reminded of the cosmic contraction written at the beginning. We hold on to life and life holds on to us. The journey is complete, but it does not end. So yeah, I think you're majorly releasing the ways that your identity was really fixed, and you can be very kind of malleable, playful, flexible this month to really have this full rebirth into a more powerful version of you, into a new version of you, into kind of aligning yourself fully, mind, body, spirit, so you can be in alignment with what you're creating, fully out in the external, bringing the internal external. All right, Aquarius, if you would like a reading, check out my link in bio. Hi, Pisces. Okay, so you're going through a major back and forth with yourself and your relationships and deep conversations with relationships. And yeah, let's just see what comes out for you. There can be new ways that you're just stepping into that highest version of yourself. Like you, out of all the signs, definitely you have the strongest connection to your higher self. And the stronger you develop that connection, the more radiant and shiny little fish you can be out in the world, where you can kind of make your dreams come true in the most effortless, flowy way, So it's really important to just open up to that unconditional love, even more and more and more so this month. And listen to the mysteries and the hidden and the unseen and the ways that the universe speaks to you, so you can make these major breakthroughs. There might be a release with something that you used to do in your everyday life, with your routines, with your work, with your habits, whatever you do in a daily basis, the grind that wasn't actually emotionally fulfilling. With Venus crossing the South Node, it's asking you, what do you truly value? And maybe how can you put that as a priority in your heart, as a priority, so you can listen to your passion and listen to your heart on a daily basis to really go in the best direction that is meant for you. And it looks like relationships are going to be beautifying. So that's really nice. With Venus entering your 7th house, with the sun in your 7th house, Mercury in your 7th house, good communication. You're seeing your other person and, clearly, and you're seeing how you can kind of fit with them even more. And if you want, Bimmy, don't claw that couch. Don't approach, Bimmy. Don't do it. Oh my God, she's done with me doing this. So she wants me to come over there. What was I saying? There's a way. Oh yeah. And if you're single, you can really definitely manifest in a relationship. So with this Mercury retrograde that will be coming up, you're definitely going to be going back and forth with your deep internal world and your shadow and, the 8th house things, which is where we store those deep, intense emotions, grudges, guilt, shame, resentments, jealousy, all the yucky emotions that come up, like a trigger, because you get triggered and you're like, oh, what is that? And because that's not actually you, that's not your soul speaking. And anytime one of those things come up, you got to, transform it by coming to an acceptance, seeing where you need to make a change, see where you can release it, so you can have more self-love at the end of the day. So you can realize all those dense emotions that were blocking you off from your best manifestations. So that's very exciting. But, when you remember who you are at that deep level, you're getting in touch with your past lives and everything and finding your voice in a new way where you can communicate what you want from a place of that inner knowing, of knowing what you want to manifest, what you are able to manifest. And you can manifest anything that you want as long as you're getting internally aligned with it and you're releasing all the blocks that have been stopping you. So you can, the most powerful way is through embodiment, so stepping into that highest version of yourself, knowing that you're worth it, law of assumption, knowing that you're going to get it. It's already in your life. Law of assumption it. And it all starts from remembering who you are. This would be a great month to really, kind of listen to that inner voice, listen to that inner knowing in your emotions, your imagination, because I think you can really majorly get in touch with, the future, your future self or your past self, and all the versions of you that you can kind of bring into the right here, right now. So you can be super powerful, because I love this card. Remember who you are. You're remembering that bigger version of you. And the more that you can do that, the more you can make magic happen in your life. So 6 of Pentacles, it looks like something might be balancing out, and it looks usually with work. There can be a little bit more of an equal give and take. And 10 of Cups, you're definitely aligning with your like big emotional fulfillment for the long term. 10 of Cups is family. This is definitely an abundance of family and those really close, tight-knit relationships that really feel good. Or you're on your way to manifesting this, really close soulmate relationships and those, soul desires that you want to, that give you that this bigger manifestation that will give you that ultimate soul fulfillment is what you're aligning with. And the Ten of Cups is like, it's there to stay. So this is what you're aligning with. Keep on doing it. And I think you just got to be really steady, steadily progress to it to keep on making that manifestation happen. Why am I like okay, it's been a long day. But at the same time, if you work with the law of assumption, I think you can make major breakthroughs where it can kind of come into your reality a lot faster. And the tower come, there's a self-caused tower. When the tower is reversed, it's like a self-caused tower moment, where maybe there was a way that you got in your own way, or that you were self-destructing your own manifestations. And we can do this all the time by, holding on to the doubt, holding on to what if it doesn't work, reverting back to old patterns. And that is being released majorly. It's like you're awakening to another level, and that stuff isn't going to be holding you back anymore. So you trust this vision. You trust what's coming in for you because you feel it. You know it. You can feel it in your body. You just have a sense that it's coming. And you're going to be able to listen to your heart more, listen to your intuition and flow with your intuition. The King of Cups came out reversed. So it's like where you weren't doing this before is where you're going to start doing it now. And holding on to that Ten of Cups vision as truth. And the more that you just do that, the more, you'll stop blocking, your manifestations, putting up blocks where there didn't need to be blocks. And a message might be coming your way that maybe there was kind of confusion with, the King of Cups, a masculine energy that maybe came off cold, but something just wasn't clear, where this is coming in this month to clear things up. And also, or you're just getting clarity about a past situation that does free you up and align you towards this higher relationship timeline. And the gazelle came up for you. So let's see what the gazelle is. Gazelle. Okay. Heightened awareness and ability, vulnerability. The gazelle represents supreme grace with every move, this awe-inspiring beauty amidst sophistication and elegance. Gazelle personalities are often hyper-aware of their surroundings, bordering on hyper-vigilant, and this can inhibit them from enjoying the beauty they've spent so much effort cultivating. No more worrying about all those predators out there in the world. When this card appears, it's time to get back to the present moment, sit down, find your breath, and acknowledge the bounty that surrounds you. Let it nourish your gentle spirit. So when in balance, graceful, perceptive, artistic. When out of balance, food allergies, insomnia, racing mind. Bring into balance yin yoga, a cozy home, good food. So yeah, maybe if you're feeling a little anxious this month, again, get back into just gratitude, being humble, because when you get into being humble, that just opens your heart into new perspectives immediately. Like you appreciate your perspective and where you're at now, but when you can become humble, you'll be open to what else is there. And there's always more out there. And I think that can maybe break you open in a whole new way. But definitely, yeah, it's like spend some time with your, at home with Jupiter in your fourth house, like making your home cozy, really setting your foundation. And at the same time, really working with your internal core with what do you want to be feeling most of the time? You can release a lot of past stories where we or the fourth house is where we can recognize our emotional state of what we're feeling most of the time. And, if it's sad, if it's depressed, if it's whatever, that's what we're feeling is what we're magnetizing towards us. So if you realize all the ways that you can kind of, have just a wider perspective with those stories and the past, where you can release that with more compassion, with more love, so you can up your vibration and your core vibration internally. I think you can do that and magnetize your relationships and opportunities and getting into alignment with this 10 of Cups overall, moving forward. All right, Pisces, thank you so much. If you would like a reading, check out my link in bio.